What is up? Dean here, Dean78904. If you want to get all technical, it's the start of 2+ hours nonstop MLB DFS conversation, taking y'all straight up the lock, straight up the first pitch. Joined today by the Millionaires Club. It's Andre. It's Head Chopper. Chop, how's Friday working out for you? Things doing all right? Anything we got to touch on before we start digging into this big boy slate? 12-gamer, 13-gamer? I didn't count because I know we lose one. We don't have Detroit and Kansas City.
Not really, Dean. Just, happy to be here on Dre Day. You know what I mean? So we're here and we're gonna knock out this slate, Dean. I'm not gonna lie, not that I didn't put forth the effort today, but it's a little bit less than typical because we're about a week away from college football and they dropped the salaries on me, so that preoccupied my time and lots of stuff going on in the Slack channel trying to get ready for our content for CFB. So it's been a busy day, and I'm gonna lean on you and Dre to really walk me through this slate.
You're gonna have that Tony Snell usage today? Is that what you're saying? Like, we're still gonna get the knockers, right? We get knockers.
Oh, I didn't say I didn't do any prep. I just okay. not quite up to par with what we usually have during the summertime when I don't have anything else to do.
I actually was looking today, Saturday, right? Is Navy Notre Dame next Saturday? I guess 8 days from today, 7 days, however that math works.
Yeah. No.
Is that not the official start?
Yeah, 18.
Over in Ireland?
Yeah, you're right. That's going to be a showdown game, yeah.
And then Florida plays Utah, and I think Colorado, Deion Sanders plays against somebody that's 17th ranked. Does that sound about right?
That's not next week. No, that probably be the next week.
Yeah, that's the middle of the week, maybe. I think coming up. But tell the people about the college football content. Is that something that's finalized, or you're still kind of working about figuring it out?
No, it's a work in progress because I don't know if everybody knows this, but we lost PSU and Fear My Turtle, two of the best at what they do. Right, so we lost them in the offseason. And
you got to step up, Chop.
We've had to, the things they did that's not really my thing, They're projection people, hardline stats guys. So we've had to replace that. And I feel like the guys that are doing it now, they're getting a really good read on it. And it's just going to be, I think it's going to be interesting and fun. And we've got all the other good stuff coming up for college football, like the rankings and the surveys we're actually doing probably a little bit more this year than typical. So it's a team effort, man. And we're not just going to rely on those two guys, which we did, man. Unfortunately, I hate to say it, but we sandbagged a little with those guys. They were, they were the studs, man. They did everything, but now it's more of a team effort. And I think it's going to be just as good. So I'm looking forward to it.
Dre, you a college football guy?
I watch it more so than I play it. I place bets here and there if I have time to really dig into it. But I have one bet that I do like, and that's probably unpopular because Colorado, I think they're going to go under on wins for the year. I don't know how favorable that is, but I think they have a little bit of a tough schedule from what I was looking at before and how teams played last year and based on the pros that people that came out from their program and stuff. So I might write that up actually on Scores and Odds probably over next week.
Betting against Deion.
Yeah, don't like doing it really, but I think they have a tough schedule. It's a new school that he has to go to, and the division that he's in is going to be a little bit tough too.
You got to take in that shot? Have you dug in untouched things, or are you still kind of getting there?
I mean, I'm good with that pick. He's really, he's getting a lot of love and attention, but the roster still probably isn't up to standards. So I'm good with that pick.
Did he not get some recruits, just his name, or I guess it's maybe next year? How's that going to work? Or do people not come over because he was there, or not necessarily?
He got a lot of good recruits in the transfer portal, and then the guys and the recruits from high school, but the recruits from high school, I don't really count them so much that first year. You're a freshman, you're 18-year-old coming in playing against some grown men, and so it's just not up to where everybody thinks it's going to be. I think this year his roster, so it'll take him a couple years to get there. So I think that's a fine play right there.
Dre, how are things for you on Friday? Everything doing all right? Anything you want to say before we kind of dive in this A big boy slate.
Everything's going good. Just ready to break things down and hopefully give some good takes where people come win some money and I come in first place. I've been close a lot recently, just running the little bit of lines I've been running. But it's just got to find that right combination. So I have some interesting pitching options that I'm interested in hearing your takes on and going from there.
I'm interested in hearing them because, some slates I feel really good about. And some slates you feel really good about. You lose all the money. It's like, okay, I guess I got that one wrong. Small sample size, whatever. Some slates you feel terrible about and you somehow win. Last night, I don't know how I won money. I mean, I guess everybody had like terrible scores, but you get a homer here or there and you're basically in the money. We didn't make a lot. We cashed. That was good enough for me. Today, I don't feel good, Andre. I just don't like it. I mean, I'm well researched. I dug in. There's not a lot to love. Strider and Lopez up top are pretty expensive as far as stacks today. Like the two highest team totals are talking about Colorado and the White Sox. I know it's Coors Field, but get out of here. Two of the worst, offenses in baseball. Atlanta, I always like to lean on Atlanta, but they're facing Cobb, who's like, not this great pitcher, but he's perfectly fine. He's competent. He'll keep the ball on the ground. He subdues power. I like Philly to some degree and Washington. I like Baltimore, but I wish they weren't in Oakland. If that game was in Baltimore, I guess it would be a lot more popular, but their lineup just came out as is. Long story short, Trey, I don't love a lot in this slate, so I'm still kind of figuring out where I'm at. Just the idea of White Sox and Rockies being like two of the top teams on the board is just uncomfortable. White Sox lineup did come out. There is no Eloy Jimenez. He's dinged. Several guys. It's kind of a funky lineup. Tim Anderson also got suspended officially. He's gone for 5 days, so it's not good. It's not a good lineup. But again, Coors Field. Well, what is your overall big picture? And I'm curious your official take, or you're still figuring out as far as Coors Field. 12 total, 6 on each side, because we're basically looking at a coin toss with Colorado and the White Sox.
Yeah, that I'm still looking at and digging to because I like the weather in there is good. It's good in Coors Field, but how are these guys going to play? And like you said, the offenses are kind of what concerns me here. I'm probably like, since I'm running 5 lineups tonight, so I'll probably maybe have one lineup with each of them in there, or maybe just make a game stack so I just suffice my need to play Coors Field. But then again, different elsewhere. I think there's a good amount of other teams that we can go to that can that have potential to be the highest stack on the slate or highest scoring stack on the slate. It's just more so finding the right secondary combo, I think, to go with it, and maybe trying to like find a surprise team that is going to go off here that has a projected low point total.
Yeah. Okay. So Eloy, thank you in chat for correcting me. Eloy not officially hurt. He's just on. He's having a child, or I suppose a significant other is having a child. He's not available tonight for the baseball game. Just a funky lineup there for the White Sox. You mentioned weather. No precipitation issues. I'm just pulling up. I dropped Kevin Roth's article in the chat for the people. What's up, chat? Hit that like button. Also subscribe and turn on those notifications. Do all those things. Kyle Tucker was just scratched. Is that why you're upset?
Yeah.
Did we like the Astros?
I like them a little bit, and that just hurts my one of my things in my bets that I had for him today.
It's Altuve, Bregman, Tucker was batting third, Alvarez, Diaz, Singleton in the lineup there, Chop, McCormick, Pena, and Maldonado. All right, so we'll figure out who got. Maybe I assume Alvarez is going to jump up to the 3 spot there against Miller, and they'll work somebody else in that lineup in a second. Chop, give me your screenshot as far as this slate, and I want the official take when it comes to Coors because. To me, it's just uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable, but at the same time, there's not a lot I love. But it's probably going to be pretty popular considering it's a big slate, right? It's not going to get crazy out of hand when it comes to ownership. But I don't know if I love – I mean, like Elvis Sanders is going to be popular, which is like just as a thought process. He's just a terrible chalk player, I would imagine. Benintendi as well, just no pop. I guess he can get a triple there in Colorado. Super cheap. Gavin Cheats. Trace Thompson in the lineup. So, like, it's not hard to get – stud pitchers and Coors. Like you can do that pretty easily. And everybody else sees that also. So what do we have, Chop? What's our official take? And we're running 150. We having some fun tonight?
Yeah, having a little fun tonight. My official overview on the entire slate is that I think there is lots of good middle tier pitching that you can go, and that's going to allow you to load up on the bats if you want to. So, and with this many games, it's going to be hard not to stack a lot. I'm with you. Like I don't necessarily have to have the chalky Colorado, Chicago stacks. I can go to the lesser owned guys. Salary's not really an issue tonight because of the pitching being spread out pretty good in the middle tier. But there's just a lot of decent offenses. And with this many offenses going, somebody's going to blow up. See, overview is stack everything, but maybe avoid some of the big chalk and don't worry about pitching. There's plenty of middle tier pitching we'll talk about that I think gets us there.
Producer Devin dropping some homer picks in the chat. He's got Jake Cave specifically on Fanduel at 6-1. Devin's producing once again today, so maybe he'll chime in at some times throughout the show. We'll see. He brought notes last night. He was helping out with myself and Bobby. So Devin, the door is open. You know the code. You know the code. Whenever you want to sneak in, Devin. There you go.
I have the key. Yes, I do have the key. I'll
Did
drop
you make notes?
I did. Yes, I brought some notes today, so I'll drop in every once in a while.
Yeah, feel free to chime in. And if you have any sort of, we're working on those homer gimmicks, by all means. Chopper's got his knockers, so like the bar is set.
It's set pretty high too. I'd say maybe shoulder height.
All right. So it's interesting because the top two pitchers as far as salary are the top two owned pitchers as well currently as far as our projections. Chopper, Spencer Strider, I guess they can't make his salary high enough. We're looking at 12-7 on DK. Still grabbing 34% ownership against a San Fran team. It's not particularly, scary. Pablo Lopez against a Pittsburgh team that strikes out a fair bit. Bay is back, by the way, for him. We haven't seen him in over a month, I would say. Leading off for the Pirates. Basically split the same. 34% for Strider, 33% for Lopez. Chop, you're talking about pitchers in the mid-tier. It's all sort of like uncomfortable, but there's definitely guys you can unleash there. But I first want to get your thoughts when it comes to the pitchers up top, Strider and Lopez. You have a lean as far as one versus the other. I know there's a difference in salary, Strider being $2K more expensive.
My lean between those two guys is Pablo Lopez. He's got the better matchup. He's cheaper, like you said, and generally, I know Strider is pretty dang good, but boy, he's gotten blown up quite a bit this year, a lot more than you would think for a guy that has his kind of reputation. So I think I'm leaning towards Lopez here. Not to say that Strider isn't good, but at his projected ownership, I think I'm going to be underweight on that by quite a bit.
Yeah, Strider, biggest K rate in the league, biggest K rate in the slate, obviously. It's just how that works out. There is a lot of power in that San Fran lineup. If you look at the plate IQ, at least, versus righties, Wilmer Flores, Peterson, Conforto, even Wade has some punch. Meckler, the rookie, is batting second. Again, interesting that they threw up in that spot. Bailey, Crawford, Estrada, not so much on the back end. Your thoughts here, Dre, as far as Strider? Obviously, he's spectacular. We do live in the world of the salary cap. What do you need out of him to justify that roster spot? We probably need 9, 10, at least 8 Ks to feel good about it. You think he's going to get there?
I think he can get there for sure. San Francisco has a 24% strikeout over the past month lately, so he can definitely get there. But like you said, there is concern with him as far as him getting showing that he's pretty much human, getting blown up lately. So I'm not as high on him just because of the price point. It's too high, 12-7. I'd rather stick with a guy like we talked about, like Chop mentioned, Pablo Lopez, who's going against who gets a little bit easier match against Pittsburgh, has a 27% strikeout rate over the past month, and has been pitched, and also he's been pitching pretty well over the past month as well, as far as with the 29% strikeout rate to righties, and I know it's only 18% to lefties, but I'm pretty sure he only has to go through 1, 2, 3, 4 lefties in this lineup from what I'm seeing here in this projected lineup. But like I said, the 27% strikeout rate makes it a little bit easier for me to go fall in love with it as opposed to going with Strider and then paying down at probably the secondary option as well. And also giving up a lot less, more ground. This ground ball rate is pretty high, and a fly ball rate is pretty decent where it's not getting blown. Going to probably get blown up.
Strider, it's weird. He wasn't he like the leader in the clubhouse as far as getting the Cy Young, and then he got his face smashed a couple times, and now he's falling back to us plus 650. Do you know who there's no clear favorite? You guys want to guess? Maybe you've been betting this stuff, but who the current Cy Young favorite is in the National League? It's not Strider. Who is it?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm actually gonna look right now because that's an interesting bet. Because I don't think in New York we can't bet on that in New York.
Really?
Yeah, New York limits us to a lot of things. We only bet on division winners. We can't bet on like individual awards. And yeah, so it kind of like sucks. I have to go to like Jersey or somewhere.
You can get sides and totals, but you can't get can you bet like player props? Like individual player props for a game?
Yeah, we can bet player props, but we just can't bet like who's going to be the MVP or things of that nature. I don't know why. It's weird.
Chop, you got to guess who the current leader is as far as the NL Cy Young favorite. About a month and a half left in the season.
It'd be a total guess over there in the National League, but I would say just based on the standings and who's been hot lately, what team. I don't even know if this guy's performing all that well, but I'd say Zach Wheeler.
You got the first name right.
Really?
Zach Gallen?
Yeah, Zach Gallen's plus 175, plus 150, depending where you're shopping.
Okay.
Yeah. Snell, by the way. Snell is the second favorite at plus 210. Webb, 5-1. Then there's Steer. Steer. That's wrong. Strider. Strider is plus 750. Justin Steele. Zach Wheeler, by the way, 40-1. If you're looking to get if you think he's going to finish strong, throw that dart. It's still wide open. It's still up for grabs, I suppose. All right. Beyond those two, Chop, beyond the two big spends there, I guess we have like somebody like Woodruff, who's pretty expensive. It's his third start back from injury. He's looked pretty good so far. Matchup against Texas, not perfect. Not something we're running away from. Not getting a ton of ownership for what it's worth. I guess you're just going to play. You're going to get Lopez if it's the same price, essentially. We're getting 9% on Woodruff. Is that somebody in your pool, Chopper, if you're running a bunch of lineups?
Sure. Yeah, got to keep him in the pool. But for me, I tiered him up and let's see here. We got a couple of lineups. And he's going to fall into the third tier for me because the price is too much for, what I think he's going to do tonight. So he's going to fall into the third tier for me. But, the matchup is not great. It's a really tough matchup, and he's expensive. And he's not even in the same category as Lopez and Strider to me because of that. So, but he'll 150 lineups. Yeah, he'll definitely be somewhere in there. Just use a little bit, little sprinkle, Dean, but just a little bit.
The other part is pitch count, right? Like we're projecting 88 pitches for him. A guy like Lopez can get to 100, Strider can get to 100. So he's taking a little bit of a haircut when it comes to a lot of pitches. And there's no discount as far as the price. It makes it a little bit trickier. Dre, you got a thought as far as Woodruff?
I like him. It's obviously tricky when it comes to Texas, but I think I will. He's my player pool for sure. I'm gonna have probably a good amount of him. If I was running 150, I would have a good amount of him in my 5 lineups. He definitely will make it into one of them for sure, at least one.
Updated lineup for the Astros: Altuve, Bregman, Alvarez, Diaz. Is that who's joining the lineup, Chop? Did we say Diaz before? If they're running up both.
He was already in there. Okay,
he plays first. I didn't know that.
He's not doesn't play it very well.
Okay. That's a good place to put somebody that is not a great fielder. You can typically hide somebody there, right? They're one of the corner spots. Altuve, Bregman, Alvarez, Diaz, Singleton's DHing McCormick, Pena. Oh, I think Dubon joined the lineup.
Yeah,
and then
Dubon.
Is that his official nickname?
This guy's Dusty, man. He's a joke, man. I appreciate his humor and how good he is, but I'd be glad when he's rides off into the sunset.
He's a Hall of Famer, man.
Man, he's always had some suspect decisions. Like his strength is obviously being a player's coach and his likability, but boy, some of his decisions are just brutal, man.
Who is Shanuel leading off for the Angels? Should I know who that is?
Oh, is that the new guy? Is that the number 11 pick from this year's draft?
It might be. Nolan.
Yeah, it sure is. Yeah, this guy's They are really throwing some stuff against the wall. He was just the 11th pick in the 2023 draft like 6 months ago. They already brought him up. So
I'm assuming he played college ball, right? I would imagine.
yeah.
Does he have a salary anywhere? Because this has to be his first game, right?
I wouldn't imagine they were expecting that. This is like just today, I think they activated him, so I doubt it.
They put CJ Crone on the IL, and they got rid of Wallach as well. At 21 years old, yeah, one of the bigger prospects, of course, in the organization. And this, I believe, will be his debut. Yeah, single A, double A, a little bit. Okay. And he's leading right off. He's hitting right in front of Ohtani. You got him, Ohtani, Drury, Moose. Hoppy's back too. Look at that. Is this his first game back, or did I miss this? I think this is his first game, right? But maybe I missed it. Moniak, Renfroe, Rengifo, and Grichuk is batting ninth. We also have Arizona, Carroll leading off, Marte, Pham, Walker, Gurriel, Peterson, Thomas, Moreno, and Perdomo. Got the Brewers. They're all dropping. Yelich, Contreras, Santana, Kana batting cleanup, Adames, Monasterio, Weimer up to the 7th spot, Terang, and then Taylor. And the Athletics, Butler, Geloff, Rooker, Brown, Diaz, Soderstrom, Kemp, Langeliers, and Allen. And I think we may have one more that dropped.
Oakland.
Maybe not. Yeah.
But we don't care about Oakland.
I see Eric in chat. Eric Johnson, he cares about Oakland. He's always touting his Athletics. Maybe this is the day that they're due to do some things. We'll see. Stay tuned on that. But all right. I just wanted to get people updated as far as the lineups that are dropping. Got a whole bunch. We're still waiting on, I guess, Detroit, Cleveland doesn't matter. We have a lot. We're still waiting for the Padres. Of course, the Dodgers, the Marlins are going to be late. And no Rays lineup just yet. Yeah, we have everything else, though, pretty quick as far as the lineups. Dre, mid-tier, favorite mid-tier pitcher tonight, who would it be? As far as, like, ownership-wise, like Kyle Gibson's getting 10%. Lorenzen, well, he's not a mid-tier guy. You're kind of getting punished for his price. He's like barely getting owned. He's up in the 5 figures coming off his no-hitter, throwing 124 pitches. JP France is kind of a mid-tier guy who I just think he's overpriced. But you tell me, what do you like in the mid-tier?
Well, I definitely do like Kyle Gibson is probably my favorite mid-tier guy. And then there's another guy that is going to hardly be owned and it's probably going to be an outlandish take, especially coming from me. But there's one guy that I do kind of like a lot here in this mid-tier. You want to take a guess?
Well, is it a Yankee?
No.
Okay. Oh, it's going to be Brian Bailey, the other side.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Devin had it pulled up right away. He's played well against this team, and the Yankees have pretty much a 25% strikeout rate. And he doesn't really give that many fly balls. I know the weather was supposed to be good hitting weather today, in that game, but I still think that he can have some success here. And the spots where we thought he was going to get blown up, he has not got blown up. I just think that is a good play. I'm just looking for the upside here, and then with the strikeouts here, and hope that he just has a fantastic day, especially at that price of $8,500.
I like it. Thumbs up.
Is that on the notes? Is that in the list there, Devin? Consult the list.
Yeah, the exact note says Bayo looks all right, might be worth some exposure, and he's low owned.
Yep.
Chop, you're gonna make it the three thumbs up for Bayo.
Bayo, yeah, he's a good. I mean, he's a good pitcher. He's a talented arm, and the Yankees are absolutely spiraling out of control. Dean. I'm not going to use gutless because that's Kirk's thing, but I'll say they are spiraling. I mean, did you see the picture today with Aaron Judge and Michael Jordan? Come on, man.
No, I didn't see it. What was it?
Goodness gracious. I guess they thought it would be a good idea, man, to recreate the Michael Jordan rings picture where Michael Jordan's got all his rings on his finger, and they try to do that with Aaron Judge because he's now a new member of like the Jordan brand or what have you. So, like, what rings is he showing off, Dean? Like, he's got one little made-up ring that Michael Jordan gave him. Like, it's a joke,
Judge,
man.
Has he never won a ring with the Yankees? Has that never happened?
Do you watch baseball? The Yankees haven't won since freaking
2010. Well, 2010, right?
Oh, has it been that long?
I think it was 20. Was it 2010 when they last won? It was the opening. It was the inaugural opening of the new stadium.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I know the Marlins beat them in 03. I can tell you that.
I don't think the Yankees have won a championship since Dean was sucking on some Similac.
It was either 20. It's either 09 or 2010.
Yeah, I have to consult the almanac. I guess I'm on the wrong page. So I didn't realize. I didn't know it's been that long. I know it's been a while, but I thought maybe 10 years ago.
2000,
Okay.
2009. Because I remember I wanted to go to the game and I couldn't go.
Who did they beat in 2009?
Who was it? Goodness, that's a great question. I don't remember. I'm about to look it up right now. Give me one.
We can type it in the Google machine, I suppose. But
bad. I'll get back to you on that one. I gotta look it up real quick.
Yeah. How many World Series for the Astros since then? Like 3 or something? Chop? At least two.
Two in the last 6 years.
Oh, Phillies.
The Phillies. Man,
Yep.
It sounds vaguely familiar. I just don't remember it very well.
It was 40. It was 4-2. 4-2. It was. Dang, the dominance of them just in the 90s was crazy.
Well, there's a lot of teams, and math says you're only supposed to win once every 30 years, right? Theoretically, but okay. I have the almanac right here with me too. If you're not aware, I carry it wherever I go. People are challenge me in chat. Yeah, I have the almanac, but the thing is, it's only 1950 to 2000, so that's kind of a problem. Lots of Yankees wins in here, but we got to update the almanac, I guess. Get back in the old DeLorean. Any other So, Chop, I'm running down our pitchers, right? I'm looking at our consensus value rankings as far as pitchers today. And it's a whole lot of ugly, right? Strider and Lopez. There's Gibson is like our third favorite as far as the mid-tier. He's probably the favorite. There's Andrew Heaney, who's pretty cheap. He had that weird start last time out where I guess they didn't talk about it, but he was ill and he kind of missed his side session. And he came out in the second, I believe. He just wasn't feeling great. I'm assuming he's fine now. And he's going to give us a normal start, and he's 7.7K. And okay, I guess as an SB2, he's fine. Lugo is okay, but I don't feel great about it. Your boy France feels a little bit overpriced against Seattle. And, I don't like reverse splits pitchers pitching in Houston with the Crawford boxes lurking out there, especially with the righty power there for Seattle. I'm more likely to roster myself some Eugenio Suarez or some big dumper Kyle Rowley. I'm okay with France, but 8.7 for France with his, his K rate's not very spectacular. I'm okay with Bayo, as he was already mentioned. Tony Gonsolin, who's just, maybe you get 5 innings. I guess you're thrilled if you get 6. His K rate's not great. Decent chance at a win facing the Marlins, but Alcantara theoretically is a good pitcher still. Chop, it's just all sorts of gross here in the mid tier. Do you have a favorite amongst this group?
I think I kind of like the mid tier, Dean. I kind of think it's. I mainly like the mid tier because your expensive guys are Woodruff. That's tough. Strider, super, super high price. And Pablo Lopez, who's pretty good. I do like that one. But other than that, what am I missing out on? So, Sandy Alcantara is 9,600. I think that feels like a little bit too much for him in this matchup. This year, he hasn't been as dominant. So then I go down to the next range. I feel a lot more comfortable in there. I'll probably lead off with Seth Lugo as being the best of that bunch, even though, I haven't really wanted to attack Arizona this year. They haven't been as good lately. So I think Lugo's fine. That's a really good price tag on him. I think Kyle Gibson has a great matchup, and he's been really good this year. And I think if anything that's driving down the ownership is probably just a terrible, terrible outing last time out. It was an anomaly, though. It was just a bad outing. That happens sometimes. So I think Kyle Gibson's a great play because the Oakland A's are not particularly good. I would then say Michael Lorenzen. I don't like taking guys coming off no hitters. You push the gas pedal a lot, and there's a lot going on. But boy, he's been really good since Philly picked him up. It's a fine matchup. I mean, there's nothing imposing about the Washington matchup against right-handers. Washington versus right-handers as an offense. So I'm good with Lorenzen too in that range. You guys mentioned Andrew Heaney. I like Andrew Heaney, man. It's only 7,700 on DraftKings. His problem in the last start was he was ill. It happens. Kyle Tucker got scratched earlier tonight because he's sick. Man, at least he got scratched and didn't do it after one at bat, right? But it's the same thing. You just get sick. Now you're back because before he getting scratched there in the second inning, in the last outing, he was putting up some good performances. He's only 7,700. There's nothing about Milwaukee when they're facing off against left-handers that really makes me, oh man, I want to avoid that team. No, I'm fine with Andrew Heaney here. And then the last one in this range for me that we talked about JP France. I actually like him tonight, Dean. Seattle hasn't been as great on offense. And as much as I want to at first, yeah, okay, it's time to stack against him because he can't keep this up. He's actually really good. He actually comes in and throws strikes, and he has his arsenal of pitches, and he sticks with it, and he's just pretty solid. At times, he can rack up a few strikeouts. Like if strikeouts for him, if he can grab one per inning in his sixth, and he's been going into the seventh inning too, getting through 7 innings, so that's a bonus. If he can get one strikeout per inning on average, pretty good. You're facing Seattle tonight, which, if you look up and down the lineup, there are quite a few Ks in there. Between Suarez, Rowley, Teoscar, Marlowe, Mike Ford, all over 27%. I think there's a chance he can be pretty good at 8,700. So I'm kind of in this mid-range, man. I like, and we already talked about Bayo. I think he's really solid too. So I think there's a lot to like in here.
As just like a general rule, though, Chop, I don't want to pay 8.7 for a guy that's got a 17% K rate. Like, that's just a general thought. I hear what you're saying. There are absolutely Ks in that Seattle lineup. Collectively, it's 26%. Like you said, a lot of strikeout guys there. But France is a guy that doesn't really miss a lot of bats. Maybe he gets it elevated today. Maybe he gets to 25% strikeouts, and then fantastic. But that's kind of my issue. It's just he's not he's an inning.
Yeah,
innings
I get
sure,
it. But I mean, also, when you look at the game logs, there are hit or miss games as far as strikeouts. Like, there are some games where he'll go 7 innings, only get 3, and you're like, that's not that. But then some where he keeps it, like I said, close to that 1 per inning range, and he's getting deeper into games. Like, man, the last, 4 times he started now, he's completed 7 innings. Like, he's just solid, man. He's not spectacular. But the reason why I guess he's on the list is because what else is there tonight? Like, there's a bunch of mid-range, so I think he falls into that just fine. That's why he's there. But yeah, I don't know. And then the Seattle thing, again, they could be explosive and they could crush you, but they could also be really bad. So I'm okay with him tonight. I'm with you. Typically, I don't want to do it, but tonight I think the matchup is okay, and I think the price tag is okay, and I don't think there's a lot of opportunity cost.
No, that all makes sense. And like the guys around him aren't. You can poke holes in all these dudes. Good point by Izzy in chat, by the way. I did not catch this, but Lorenzen is getting 2 extra days off. He has not pitched since the 9th, which I guess it kind of messes with his routine a little bit, or I suppose maybe they want to give him a little extension because he threw 124 pitches last time out. So I assume he's full go, but like your general rule, Chop, of like a guy, if he's pushed that hard, maybe if they want to cut him an inning, if it's possible, if it's a 6-1 game and he's throwing 87 pitches in the 6th inning, maybe that's it. You're done. We'll see how that's handled. And also, it's like he's not in the mid-tier. We kind of put him in the mid-tier, but he's not. I don't think at 9.2. It's kind of maybe it's a little tier, I suppose, below Lopez, but like above all the guys like Bayo and France and Gibson. Dre, your favorite pitcher in the mid-tier? I'm not sure if I asked you that, but feel free. Yeah. I'm curious your thoughts as far as Heaney against Milwaukee. And I guess we can just throw that last game out. I assume he's just fine and good to go.
Yeah, my favorite pitcher is going to be Brian Bayo in the mid-tier. Bayo in the mid-tier, but I do have Andrew Heaney here. Don't know how much I'm going to have of him, though. I like the matchup. I like the price point, too, of 7.7K for him. I'm just really trying to focus more on I do like the combination more so of Kyle Gibson, Bayo, or Gibson and Lopez. Just having those 3 guys as my main guys rotating in and out. Heaney will be thrown in there a little bit. I'll see where it all shakes out. Honestly, I don't even know how much I'm going to have today. I'm really contemplating about just being completely different next to them out because how the salary cost that he has to have a fantastic game at that price. He has to score at least 30 DraftKings points to just kind of be at salary or close to it and to beat me. If I have a couple of these guys that give me 20 to 25, and they are in the 8K range, and I can still use that to pay up against some bats, that might be a better route to go, honestly, on the slate tonight. So I'm more with that and going that route. Maybe Lopez is an option because the price is $2K cheaper, but I really can't see myself going with anyone else above really Lopez. But Heaney is a fine option. I don't mind it at all. It's just not my top. But he's definitely the low. Lugo's the lowest I'm going though. I'm not going any lower than him. But I don't even know if I'm really going to even have him once I make my final cuts here at pitcher.
If I could guarantee you 25 points for Strider, no more, no less, would you lock him in? Would you not play him at all? Would you put him on one team? How would you handle that theoretically?
I might put him on one team, but I'm a gambling man, so I will take my chances and X them out and hope that these other guys in their matchups can get about 25 fantasy points.
Yeah, the only counter I have to like I understand the point of like you need 30 points out of Strider to feel fully justified out of it is like the safety in it. Like again, this is all hypothetical, and then I just don't like everybody else, and also like there's not a lot of bats I need. I don't feel like I have to pay up for the Braves. I love the Braves, but I don't feel like I have to pay up for them tonight. Famous last words in before the Braves put up 8 in the first inning. But that's sort of my read on the slate, and there's a lot of cheap stuff out there too. Like this is the time of year where you're getting guys that are super, super cheap that kind of come out of nowhere. I know we have no price on the dude for the Angels, but we will soon. The Cardinals got their top prospect. Now he's batting 9th at home. He's kind of buried, but he's a super cheapie if you want him. Mason Wynn, you can find cheap players now easier this time of year as opposed to like a month or two ago. Chop, give me your final thoughts as far as pitchers. I'm trying to see if there's anything else in chat that's being thrown out that we should discuss before we move on and start talking about hitters. But Zach Thompson, I saw thrown out there. If you have any thoughts on Zach Thompson, he's got a really good K rate, but it's a small sample size, and it's probably lucky if you look at his swinging strike rate. I saw somebody talking about the prospect of playing Kopech, which, that could end really poorly in Coors Field. Gives up over 2 homers per 9, gives up way too many fly balls, but, we know the Rockies are pretty terrible, and he does have a good K rate, pretty good. I don't think that's the worst idea for running 150, but understand that could end really, really poorly. Thoughts on those guys? Anyone else to enter the conversation, Shop, or shall we just do? And Brandon Pfaadt. Brandon Pfaadt is a no for me. I know he's facing the gutless Padres, but he's not quite ready. I don't think he's quite ready. He's still refined. He's got to get a little more refined. Legit prospect, but I don't think he's there. But your take, Chop. Any of those guys do anything for you, or you just want to give us the summary?
Those guys do not do anything for me. I mean, Kopech isn't saving me enough money to there's plenty of mid-range guys. I don't know what is his ceiling in Coors Field, because his ceiling in the really good games he's had this year, the very few of them, is okay at 7,300. It's all right, but there's been way too many not so great games. I know Colorado's not good, but it's Coors Field, so I'm out on Kopech. I'm out. San Diego's actually starting to pick up a little bit on offense, so I don't know that I want to go that route going against them. Yeah, these other guys, they don't quite do it for me. So my general thoughts on the slate tonight, I do like Pablo Lopez based on salary more than Strider and more than Woodruff. That'd be my spin up. But I think I'm living in the mid-range. Lugo, Gibson, France, Lorenzen, Haney, Bayo, all I think really, really solid. I would have thought. We did a show on Monday. Dean. And my best hitting lineup, which was really, really good, had another good pitcher too. My best hitting lineup, lots of home runs, good pitcher. My SP2, believe it or not, was freaking Sean Manaea, because we didn't have the clarity of whether he was going to. We thought, he's going to pitch, but we didn't have the for sure clarity, right? So I caught a 0 at pitcher, and it ruined everything for me. So,
but it got you all those hitters though, like the 4K got you all those hitters, or whatever it was, 5K. But
but my God, you're not winning with a 0 from your pitcher though. But point being that now tonight we have Luis Medina, who's going to come in relief. Unlike Manaea though, we've pretty much been told he is going to be the second guy in, and he just has an opener going for him. So Medina, I guess, would be in play in that circumstance as the bottom line cheapest guy I would take. But even then, I mean, it's hard for me to trust guys who are just going to come in out of the bullpen because there's so much unknown there. If he was still just, I'd like him more if I knew he was just starting.
We didn't get a chance to look at the umpire data. Obviously, when a bunch of new series starts, a lot of it's not either in or it's not like official, and this stuff sometimes will change. We have one extreme hitters umpire, that is Seth Lugo and Brandon Faught. Nothing in just yet as far as Gonsolin versus Alcantara on the West Coast. That is the only extreme we have currently. Somebody was asking about France, what France has, and whatever it is, it's not going to be an extreme. It's a slightly pitcher favored umpire we're seeing here in the old lineup HQ. What do you have here, Dre? What do you want to add as far as your summary when it comes to pitching?
My summary is just play a lot of Brian Bayo and watch the money come in. Plain and simple. I like him a lot. Him and Kyle Gibson are like my two favorite pitchers, and then Pablo Lopez would be my third. So I'm just like I said, rolling with them a lot and gonna be overexposed to them in tournaments, and just let the chips fall where they may. The mid tiers, the place you should be today, mostly. The highest spin up is Pablo Lopez, and yeah, be overweight to those guys that you love, and just watch everything fall where they're supposed to be.
Were you guys watching the Wainwright last night by chance? And I mean, watching the Mets. The umpires were like, I guess both sides that game, but they were giving Wainwright like 2 baseballs, like on the outside corner. It was ridiculous. Like Goldie, the Pete Alonso home run, like he thought he walked twice. Like, you know, like you see a batter like take off their equipment, they start like walking. 2 times it happened the same at bat, and they gave Wainwright another, like, you know, it's like 6 inches outside, and they gave it to him, and Alonso's like, really? Okay, let me just smash a homer to dead center. How about that? It was amazing. There was probably some really good tilt for those that did not have Alonso, and then you're never really rooting for your big power hitter to walk, but it was I don't know if there was some sympathy there for Wainwright. I'm not really sure what was going on, but it was really weird. The umpire behind home plate was doing some funky things, and it was kind of both sides, but it seemed like he was being a little more generous to Wainwright, who didn't. He was good his first 3 innings. He should have retired right there on the mound. The 3 innings, 3 clean. That's it. Call it a career. Okay, we're going to talk about stacks in just a second. You get those likes up because we do have TJ and Spidey Bombs. So, Chop, what are the rules on this? I know you don't bring out the Triple G unless TJ's on the show, but TJ's going to be on later. Does that mean it's like a preemptive strike with your Triple G? I know we're going to get the knockers. We're going to get the BBP algorithm play today. But do you also unleash the Triple G play for the people?
I've got to see Spider-Man make an appearance, Dean. I can't just guess that he's going to be on later. I need to see Spider-Man make an appearance, and then Triple G shows up.
Maybe like so what during the crossover you give the people the Triple G play? Is that possible?
Maybe he'll show up in chat and give out some Spidey bombs.
Okay, yeah, I got to assume TJ is lurking. Tim's going to be on as well. You have Roth. Nothing weather-wise that I can see unless something has changed, but I think we're pretty clean when it comes to precipitation. The only thing I saw was yellow for Colorado, which, you know, that's not something I'm going to be alarmed with. I'll see what Roth has to say when he comes on if things happen to change. Taking a peek at Weather Edge, pretty positive there in Yankee Stadium. Kind of a small sample. We see a bump in runs and homers per the temperature. Anything else of notes? Small sample and not great in St. Louis, not great for Minnesota, but that's kind of a small sample. We're not really seeing anything else right here, Trey. At Weather Edge, it's just nothing, no big outliers unless I'm missing something.
No big outliers. Yeah, I have taken a peek. No big outliers that I've seen so far. I think Arizona was on there too, right? Let me look again just to make sure.
Yeah. Arizona's on the road. If they're at home, of course, Chop will give you his take about the dry heat and being in the dome, which is always a fun conversation.
Yeah, the Padres have good hitting weather. Even though it's only 44 games, but I think that's still good enough.
All right. Do you want to mention 20 days until the start of the NFL season? Let RotoGrinders handle all the legwork. You can work less and win more this NFL season. Get access to everything we have to offer and a special discount available only to those without an RG subscription. You can get full season subscription for $50 off at a limited time, only Currently, the price is $375. That's $50 off, $375. The sale will be ending opening night of the season, so get it while you can. That is 20 days from today. That will be a Thursday, I believe. Top of the Dome. I think that's Detroit versus either Philly or KC. Does that sound right? Opening night? I think it's Detroit versus Philly or KC. One of those two. Are we watching the Hard Knocks? Anybody watching the Hard Knocks on the HBO?
Nope. Definitely have not had time to watch that. And plus, it's the Jets. I'm not a Jets guy.
Yeah. I watched the first episode.
I feel bad.
Chop, did you watch?
Yeah, I watch them. I watch them every week when they come out. It's entertaining. Yeah. I think it's entertaining.
It's well produced. It's a really good production, and it's really impressive how fast they turn it over because, they shoot it and edit it in 3 days or something, 4 days, whatever it is. It's pretty spectacular. Rodgers comes off really likable. I'll give him that. I watched the first episode. He comes off as a likable dude. And they do a great job. Just everybody looks likable, right? The whole team just seems pretty fun for the Jets. But yeah, and you're not a Jets fan, Jay? Well, Jay, you're a New Orleans fan, right? That's your team. You're in New York.
Yeah, I'm definitely a New Orleans fan for sure. The Jets, yeah, they're just I can at least kind of stand Giants fans a little bit, but the Jets, I just feel bad for them all the time. They always think they're going to be good, and then they just never get there. It just never works out for them.
All the false. What's the correlation? Is it like Jet fan, Met fan, like Giants fan, Yankee fan? Is that how that works?
Yes, that is definitely how it works.
Yeah. Okay. And who's worse? As far as just the average fan, who's more annoying? Jet fan, you're saying you feel bad for. You're up there in New York.
They're definitely probably more annoying. Even in one thing I commend them, they do root for them even in their losses, but it's still just
none of them are as bad as Pittsburgh fans.
Everybody hates Pittsburgh. Why?
Why is Pittsburgh the worst?
Just they've always seemed like the worst fan base to me. But before we go into that, Dean, Amateur Hour has a question in chat, an interesting question related to the Bayo conversation we were having earlier. DK has a bizarro bet tonight. I'd love your guys' take. Either side money line bet, New York plus 100 or Boston minus 125. If your team is ever up by 2 runs, you win.
Huh. Okay, so you got to pick a side that just at some point is up to nothing. Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you this, taking the road team, if you somehow get 2 runs in the first inning, it's over.
Yeah.
So I think the road team is the better bet. They're also the favorite. You got the better pitcher. Mm-hmm. So I think if you're going to take that bet, you take Boston and maybe get it over right away. Yeah. That's my first thought.
I think I'd take that.
Chopped, right?
But is it just that game? You can't just pick any game?
Just that game, yeah.
Yeah, then you gotta take Boston. Just not only the home road thing, but just the fact that Bayo's pretty good, and Brito is a guy that if I was ranking today, I would be stacking Boston in my top 5.
I didn't get them as far as my top 5, but I got close. I like Boston as well. But we didn't mention it, Dre, but the worst, we were just talking to New York exclusively, nobody's worse than the Cowboys fans, right? We can say that without question. That's obvious. Goes without saying.
The Cowboys fans are pretty bad, but I honestly might be Philly. They're loyal, but they're kind of.
I mean, Dean, I don't know what you're talking about. Cowboys fans are fine. There's nothing. They're no different than most other fan bases. I mean, Philly is just atrocious. Philly is terrible.
We got some Philly guys on our projection team. Several Philly guys. Jamino is a Philly guy, right? You're throwing some rocks there. Well, Cowboys, the correlation is what? Cowboys, Yankees, Lakers, right? Is that how that works, Dre?
Probably.
All the front-running teams, historically.
Yeah.
There you go. We're taking shots at all the fan bases for no particular reason, but having some fun. Okay, let's talk about of course, Chop. If you guys didn't know, Chop is a Cowboys fan. I think that goes. The people probably know that by now. Let's talk stacks, Chopper. According to our consensus value rankings, that's myself. That's Tim, who's going to be on later. That's Kirkwood. That's SDL Cards. We have the number one team on the board this season. I don't know if you've seen it all year, but the White Sox are number 1. Phillies number 2. This is consensus-wise. Colorado number 3, Atlanta number 4, Baltimore 5, Mets 6, Padres 7, and the Cardinals 8. Cards did not say the Cards for the record. But again, it's the White Sox and like Colorado. Philadelphia looks pretty good against Washington. Yoan Adon's not very good. Locked in for 9. Positive ballpark. Pretty good prices, especially on Fanduel for the Phillies. Chop, what do you feel about that board? Anything too high? Anything too low? Anything you want to kick off? Anything you want to bring on? How do you feel about today's stacks as far as our consensus rankings?
I actually didn't quite hear you. I was too busy timing Izzy out. He made a poor joke about the Cowboys fan, so I timed him out. He's got to go for 300 seconds. I would just say I have 7 teams I feel decent about. Starts with St. Louis at the top, and then I go to Coors Field with Chicago, Colorado, whichever order you want to go. I don't know. Then I like San Diego coming in at 4 for me. And then Boston against Brito. Brito, you know, probably a little rough around the edges. I'm okay with Boston there. And then, just if I'm going to expand it even more, Dean, I don't hate the Los Angeles Angels tonight, even though I kind of made this list before we got the lineup, and now we got a guy leading off that I can't even roster. So I don't know about that. But I thought the matchup was good for him. And Tampa Bay is – man, another Tommy John surgery for a starting pitcher that like they just I don't know.
It's like 12 now or 13 in the last so many years. It's way too many.
It's a lot, and they're kind of circling the drain right now. I don't even want to get into the other stuff. I know you got a lot of Wander Franco rookie cards that are in shambles right now, Dean. You probably got a lot of Wander Franco top shots that are spiraling down the tube right now, but Angels are good. And then just because I couldn't leave Atlanta off, they've got a historically good offense working this year. Although I don't love them against Cobb, they're still so powerful that I'm going to put Atlanta. I would put them as my number 7 stack tonight. So that's kind of where I am with my stacks.
What do you think, Dre, as far as the stacks tonight? Again, one more time, I'll reiterate. It's the White Sox number 1 consensus-wise, then Philadelphia, then Colorado, Atlanta, Baltimore, the Mets, the Padres, and St. Louis. That's our consensus board. That's myself, Tim, Kirkwood, and Cards. What is yours? What is too high? What is too low? And feel free to reiterate your core stance. Obviously, some people have joined us since the start of the show. Stacks-wise, where you at?
Well, I'm going to leave Colorado and the White Sox off as far as the Coors game because obviously whenever someone's in Coors is typically going to be the most popular game. So if outside of those 2 teams, I have a little bit of a long list, but I do like Boston, Philly, Atlanta, Houston, Baltimore, and then I do like a little bit of Miami and the Padres. Thinking about, I'd like Minnesota, but then they just scratched Jefferson. I want to see how everything shakes out with them a little bit. And then
I didn't see that.
And then St. Louis is in there, but I probably think they're going to be more of a secondary stack.
Let's see. Jeffers, you said got scratched for Minnesota?
Yeah, he did. They came with a new lineup.
Julian, Lewis, Kepler, Correa, Polanco, Wallner, Solano, Vasquez, Michael A. Taylor. So I guess they probably just dropped Vasquez in the spot for Jeffers. All right. Hey, Chop, how many likes do we need to get those knockers out of you?
Oh, I'm going to flash some knockers later. I don't even need no likes, Dean. I don't even care, man.
No, we got to know. No, you can't. You got to like tease them.
Okay. I got to tease my knockers a little.
Yeah.
Give me 100 likes, guy. How many? What are we at right now?
We're close to 100. We're closing in at 100.
Give me 100, 150, and I'll give you some knockers, man.
You give us the BVP play at 100?
Sure, why not, Dean? Oh, the BVP is like low-hanging fruit today. So it's not even. It's easy. You don't even have to. Everybody could probably guess.
Was it Goldie yesterday? Because Goldie flopped. Goldie flopped yesterday as a BVP special.
I didn't do any shows yesterday.
That works out perfectly. He was like 11 for 17 or something goofy versus the pitcher, but he did nothing essentially. Dre, you have anything in the works? You have the parlay for the people. You have some homers. What do you have?
I'm working on 2. I'm trying to work on a total base, like a mixture for $1 million parlay. I definitely have a home run $1 million parlay out. We have 408 people watching, looks like. So half of that, I would say 200 likes, we get that. But I'll do it at 150, for everybody if we get there. And if we get to 200, I'll give out both my $1 million parlays today.
We are at 100, Chop, so let's give the people the BBP special. I don't know if producer Devin has anything that works for himself. I know he's got some notes. I'm not sure if he wants to share with the people, but Devin, you got anything?
I got a couple of home runs in the works here. My dog is getting antsy. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see what Chop has, and Devin, if you can come up with something after Chopper, by all means, I'm sure the people want it as well. But Chop, give the people the BBP special. Now, this is your proprietary information. Nobody else has this, right? As far as figuring out the best BBP stuff of the day.
This is my special algorithm, but tonight everybody's going to see the same thing that I saw that the algorithm spit out to me. Paul Goldschmidt
again.
Yeah, we're going with Goldie tonight as the BVP suggestion of the day. It just so happens, on a side note, that he's facing a lefty, and it's probably a weak lefty. And in his career, he's been pretty good against lefty. This year, he's kind of struggled a little bit against lefties, but that doesn't matter with the BVP algorithm. They don't take that into account. So we're going.
That's not factored in at the recent the last season's not even acknowledged. Doesn't exist.
Not the last season against every pitcher in the league. This is just BVP, Dean. This is batter versus pitcher one-on-one.
I understand what the letters stand for.
Yeah, batter versus pitcher. So we're going Goldie here today. Goldie's going to get the nod.
Yeah, his ISO this year versus lefties is kind of weird. Like you said, 130, which is, I would say it's the worst in the lineup. But it isn't. But that's because Baker and Fermin don't really have an ISO just yet versus lefties because their sample size is so small. But that should change going forward. So Goldie is the BBP suggestion of the day. We got the knockers coming up shortly. 15 minutes or so, 15, 20 minutes. We have crunch time. You got Tim TastefulTides and his taters. I assume he's got some taters for the people. Of course, Spidey Bombs and TJ. I don't see him in the chat just yet, but he'll probably want at least 150 likes for just immediately once he comes on, he can unleash at least one or two. So get those likes up. And Devin, what do you have? What do you have for the
that
people?
likes elitist TJ? Yeah, I've got a couple of them. Actually, I have a few home run bets. I think I have 8 today.
What? Look at you.
We'll start. I dropped earlier. I dropped Jake K for everybody. Plus, I got it at plus 600 on FanDuel. I think it's plus 540 now. And I'll give Seth Brown plus 520.
I like it. Oh, you were at the Nashville baseball game? Rowdy, did you tweet out Rowdy Tellez yesterday?
Yeah,
Was that you?
Rowdy Tellez and Keston Hira. There were a bunch of names I remember from my 2021 season-long team.
So it's like a double A Milwaukee or triple A Milwaukee?
It's triple A Milwaukee. Yeah, so they get all the rechecks. I saw Yelich there one day, and I was like, hey.
Well, he was probably just rehabbing, right? He wasn't sent down. I assume it was a rehab stint.
We'll call it that,
What do they call it? We always get some funky names in AAA. What's the Nashville affiliate team called?
Nashville Sounds.
There you go. That's right. That makes sense
the
because
Sounds.
of the Music City.
Yeah. Guitar themes and everything. Yeah, it's the works.
Yeah. Do we have any work functions? Was there any work functions this year at the Nashville Sounds? That happens on occasion, right?
It happens on occasion. I don't think we had one in a while, though. No, not a couple of years, I think. Steve went there, I think, 2 days ago, and then I went last night. So production teams having their own party, one person at a time.
Drop your thoughts in chat, whatever questions you have as far as the slate, by all means. If there's something we missed, something you want us to talk about, we're happy to do so. If you're sitting there with a 2v2 question and you can't figure it out, Dre and Chop, both these guys have won $1 million apiece. One of them did it twice. Collectively, 3 individual $1 million wins on the show. We're going to yield again. Crunch time, 15 minutes or so. Do hit that like button. Let us know. Give us the details if you have any question. You're playing on Draftkings, playing on DK, playing on FanDuel. If you're playing cash games, tournaments, you're playing in the large field tournaments, you're playing single entry stuff. All that stuff is helpful as far as answering questions. You don't necessarily have to play there. You can play on Stat Hero. Stat Hero, you're not aware, you should be. Unique fantasy sports platform. You already know it. You love it. It allows users to compete against the house instead of players in a contest. There's Searing 20 contests for MLB Pick'em that is still going on, that is still running. Join this free-to-play contest and win to start your streak. Keep your streak alive by playing each day. Build your streak. Win prizes with consecutive wins, including swag, RG Premium, and the cash prize. What is that cash prize? $20,000 first prize with a Searing 20. Use the promo code GRINDERS. That's GRINDERS. GRINDERS, 50% deposit bonus up to $250 over there on Stat Hero. Eric wants to know, Chop, who's your money on, Squirrel or Cheese? Both of them are in the live final this weekend in San Diego. My answer would be no knock on Cheese, but I'm guessing Squirrel probably has like 6 entries. So I will take Squirrel because he probably has like a bunch. I don't know. I'm not really sure how many entries he has. But yeah, who's taking that down? Is it going to be Squirrel or is it going to be Cheese this weekend?
Between those two guys, respectfully to everybody, yeah. I mean, Squirrel is just like he's almost on a different level, man, with MLB sometimes. So I gotta give the nod to him in a vacuum, Dean. But where's the live final taking place, Dean?
San Diego. Yeah, where the hurricane's lurking and it's going to be a whole. Hopefully things work out for everybody.
That would be like, Roth tweeted out today that there is a pretty good chance that on Sunday night, come time to get out of there and go back to your own home, that you may get the airport shut down or something like that. You may be trapped in San Diego. Boy, you talk about a nightmare. Being trapped at the hotel with all those DFS guys. Tell you what, man, watch out. I don't know. That might be reason to stay home right there and not even make the trip.
Who's the one DFS guy you just absolutely do not want to get trapped with?
Well, I mean, the list is quite long, Dean, but let me see. I don't want to. We're on the air here, so I don't want to say you.
Yeah.
I don't want to say you, but
you can. It's all right.
You're near the top of the list, but
fair enough.
I mean, there's Britt. I wouldn't want to be stuck in that hotel with Britt running around with his Mickey Mouse ears for the whole weekend.
That's a deal breaker.
Yeah, that's a deal breaker. There's a lot. There's a few guys out there, man.
Oh my gosh.
Fair enough. Hey, Dre, you said you're only making 5 lineups today, right?
Yeah.
So you have to make some cuts. I'm not sure if you finalized your lineups just yet, but what's the cut you hate the most? What's the player or like the team or the stack that you just, whatever reason, can't get to and you're most afraid of not having enough of?
Right now, I feel like I'm trying to get more Philly. It's kind of hard to get them in, so I'm trying to get more of them if I can. I like them. I'll get them out, and the Padres. Like, I'm really kind of interested in having them a little bit, so I'm trying to just work everything out and just like honestly force them in because it's getting a little tough for me to do that right now.
Somebody also nominated Blender in chat. They're nominating me. I guess I laugh too much. That's a problem. All right, fair enough. There's reasons. I get it. Tim is saying
they nominated you because you're ignoring their question.
What was the question that I ignored? Oh, the question about
Fanduel single entry, favorite pitcher and stack.
Big shot.
Carolina guy in Discord, always playing the single entries on Fanduel.
Oh, okay. He's multi-entering with names. He's Big Hurt in the YouTube, but that's right. Okay, I should know that. Chopper on Fanduel, single entry. Your favorite pitcher and what's the favorite stack to pair with said pitcher?
I would say single entry on Fanduel. I'm probably, just based on the way the salaries are set up, I don't have to be so different. And Strider's, he's going to be owned, but not so owned that I can't play him in single entry. He's much more closer to the other pitchers in salary. So I go Strider as my pitcher because I can save on a stack like St. Louis, gets a lefty. They're very affordable. I can get like 4 guys out of that. Like, there's plenty of firepower that's under. If you take Strider, you got 2,900 per player left over. There's guys on St. Louis under 2,900 that you can put on your stack. And even if you didn't, even if you wanted to throw Goldie or Arenado, are very affordable. So that's where I would go.
We have Tim, TastefulTides, checking in, saying I'm top of the list, of course, of that. He's coming on in 10 minutes. See? Say it to my face, Tim. Bring it.
How does people nominate themselves as they would not be fun to hang around?
I don't know.
I mean, I would not. I've been to some finals, right? I would nominate myself, Dre, like, because I know exactly how my weekend goes at these. The first day or so before everything, it's fine, it's fun, it's great, you're having a good time. Once the game hits and you realize, well, I'm not going to do anything here. I'm going to finish, middle of the pack or worse. I start to get little bit more and more angry as every hour goes by, man. And by the end of it, I'm just ready to smack anybody who wants to talk to me, and I'm ready to get on the plane and get home. So I could see how that goes. I could nominate myself for that.
Why not late stack the late game? So then you can delay. You don't really know that your night's over until it's late.
Dean, we had one in the Bahamas one time. I went to the Bahamas for a Draftkings baseball one time, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, you couldn't get any better. Like they had the whole water park in the hotel, behind the hotel. Like it was fantastic. It was the greatest trip, right? But the thing comes and I realize I'm not going to win and it's winding down and CSU is going to win $1 million. And then everybody's wife is like, you guys get together, everybody take pictures. And we're taking pictures and I'm starting to like feel it, Dean, like, man, I'm getting mad now, brother. I'm about to turn into the Hulk here. And we got into one picture with about 5 of us. And I was right next to Cal Spears, former RG, the founder. And he's like,
well, he's still the founder.
Well, yeah, but he's gone. Kyle Spears, good guy. He's next to me, and he goes, "Y'all need to hurry up with this picture. I can feel Chopper's heat radiating off me." I was about to strangle these people. Kept wanting pictures, man, and I was ready to go.
I guess things didn't go well. You stacked the early game, and at least you didn't get like a scratch. Like you're dead before the whole thing starts. That's got to be the worst, I imagine. But all right. Let's load up these questions here in chat until we get to crunch time, about 10 minutes until we yield to them. Let's see. Hoosiers Hang Banner says, Chop going to keep those knockers close together in the lineup or possibly spread them out. Do we need 150 to get the knockers revealed? I believe we need 150. Where are we currently at? 121. Oh, boy. Yeah, we got a ways to go, I suppose, to unleash the knockers for the people. Kindly hit that like button. Do subscribe. Turn on those notifications. And I imagine, not to speak for TJ, but I assume TJ, once we hit 150, he'll probably unleash the Spidey Bombs as well, and about 30 or so likes, jumping on in like 10 minutes. Okay. Let's see. Trying to see what else is going on in chat. Chat is not very chatty today for some reason. Not really sure why. Maybe they're busy making lineups. Who knows what they're up to? But Chop, we are going to get to the knockers momentarily. Triple G, you're going to unleash theoretically when the Spidey Bombs are unleashed, which again, that will be for some time. There's TJ. TJ in chat. First Spidey Bomb at 150, then 175. Then at 200. So there you go. That all makes sense. Has anything changed lineup-wise? Anything that you like now, Chop, you didn't necessarily like earlier in the day? We talked about the Cardinals prospect batting 9th. Is he somebody that's going to work his way? I think you were talking about the Cardinals, right? Are you willing to roster the rookie? I think he's cheap enough. Little wraparound stack for you?
Yeah, I guess he's fine. He's cheap enough. I could play him. I have my question marks about guys this young and experienced, but yeah, he's fine. I guess, Dean, since most of it's been pretty straightforward, these lineups aren't no surprises. Seeing Kyle Tucker get scratched, that's your second best hitter in that lineup. That definitely helps Bryce Miller, who's not a bad pitcher at all. He's all right. That probably helps him. We'll see how that plays out, but everything's been pretty straightforward so far.
For no particular reason, Hoosier Hangs Banners mentions the movie The Wrestler, one of the most underrated movies of the last so many years, and Marissa Tomei is delightful in that movie. She's fabulous. The whole movie is spectacular. Mickey Rourke, probably my favorite sports movie. We're going to call that a sports movie, Chop. I don't know if it's a hot take or not. I think The Wrestler might be my favorite all-time sports movie. How about that? Is that a hot take for you?
Yeah, it's a very hot take.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it. I mean, it was fine. Definitely not my favorite sports movie, that's for sure.
You're more of like a Bad News Bears guy?
That was good. Bad News Bears was good. Yeah, in fact, Dean, I actually prefer the remake with
Billy Bob?
Yeah, Billy Bob as the bad news. That was funny, but I'd say right offhand, there's been a lot of good sports movies. I can watch Remember the Titans over and over and over again.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
How about The Blind Side, Chop? You like The Blind Side?
Gross. Disgusting, man. Just the behavior of some people out there these days, crazy.
The stories that came out is wild. I was listening to on the Levitard show. They're really digging into it, and I couldn't. It's pretty. I mean, obviously based on a true story, they make a lot of stuff up. And No Horror is always like he's always like hated the movie, and it's really interesting what's coming to light as far as that. You have a favorite sports movie, Trey? Anything off the top of the dome?
Just a couple. Blindside Def I could watch all the time. Love and Basketball is one of my favorites. Probably my favorite of all time because I love basketball. So Love and Basketball is there. I do also like Hardball. Hardball's a really, really, really good one.
Keanu Reeves and G Baby. Yeah. Oh man, that is a good one. It's an underrated one.
Yep, and then young Michael B. Jordan.
That's right. Yeah. There you go. Alan wants to know best single entry stack on DK. Dre, your favorite single entry stack on DraftKings is what?
I mean, all right. So, like, do you want to get crazy or do you want to get something that's just good? If you want to get something that's just good, Philly. I like Philly a lot. I like Boston a lot. A little bit that I think is out there, but I think they could really do it tonight is Miami.
Oh, so is that something you do in single entry? You're the only team that has a Miami stack in single entry. So it's kind of that push-pull of like, if Miami somehow does it, right? Nobody else has them in single entry. Like large field, every team's covered. But like you said, that is getting pretty frisky. But, if they put up a 10 spot, you're feeling pretty good.
Yeah, they've been playing well lately. So I definitely don't mind taking some shots with them and see how things roll off. And Gosselin has not been good, and fly balls are there today where he can get blown up. And Josh Bell has somehow come to life since he got traded to Miami. So I think that they are a very, very, very sneaky team.
No official lineup just yet, but we're projecting Soler, his power to lead off with Arise, Bell, Chisholm. Of course, the addition of Berger has extended that lineup. De La Cruz, Sanchez, Stallings, pretty horrendous as far as a catcher, and then Joey Wendell. That is our current projected lineup. Now we fired the chat with a bunch of movie takes there. Chop, you watched I know we discussed this. You watched the White Man Can't Jump remake. You didn't like it, right? I feel like you were not a fan.
No, not a fan. Didn't need to be remade unless you're going to nail it with the chemistry of the actors, like Woody and Wesley Snipes had, and they didn't do that. So, no, not a fan.
Did you watch the remake?
Was really good too.
That's the Ben Affleck, right?
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good. Yeah,
that was a pretty good one.
I didn't see it, but I feel like it's kind of like a modern day Hoosiers. Is that fair to say? Or I don't know. I did not watch the movie, but that's the vibes I got from like the commercial. But no,
kind of similar.
Yeah.
Is The Waterboy considered a sports movie? Yes. Yeah, of course. That's a sports movie. And I had a chance to be an extra in that movie, and I slept in. So I'm I'm good.
Oh, but, come on.
I didn't realize it was going to be this big production. I don't know. Yeah, it was at the Citrus Bowl in Orlando, and I was in Orlando at the time. But okay, this is the kind of things we're delving into. Joanna Man just randomly thrown out in chat for no reason. No context, just Joanna Man. Like I don't know what is that answering a question. I'm not sure, but it just sort of made me laugh. Digstown better than Rocky? That's kind of a bold proclamation. Rocky kind of overrated. Is that wrong to say? I don't know. A little overrated. First one's kind of boring. It's kind of boring. We're just randomly throwing out movies in chat for no particular reason. Do we like Minnesota? Brian wants to know, Andre, do we like Minnesota today? Fanduel tournaments. They're pretty cheap. There's some cheap power in Minnesota. They've kind of been a little bit disappointing. Guys like Correa, but Correa's really, really cheap. And I think he asked on Fanduel specifically. Yeah, Correa's 2.7. I want to say on Fanduel. I think Minnesota's perfectly fine, and we're not really sure we're getting out of Andre Jackson. I'm good with Minnesota.
I am too. I think they're definitely a good secondary stack to those lefties. You can use those since he definitely has gives them a lot of lately a high ISO to them, along with the Woba and fly balls too as well at 45%.
TJ says the Creed movies are better than the Rocky movies, and I don't think that's an outrageous take. I know it's old. The olds are not going to appreciate that. They're not going to like that for sure, but I don't think that's completely absurd. Feel free, Chop, if you got anything on that. Creed versus Rocky. Have you seen the Creeds? Have you seen the Rockies?
I've definitely seen the Rockies. I haven't seen the Creeds yet, man. I should probably see it. They got it out on one of the streaming services. You can watch them all, but I haven't seen them. But I'll say this much, Dean. Somebody said Friday Night Lights earlier. Friday Night Lights was a great book. It was a even better movie. and it may have been an even better TV series. They really nailed it with all of them. Like right when Friday Night Lights was about to like go downhill, they brought in Michael B. Jordan, and he just spruced it right up again. Man, it was a good series.
Chop, I never took you as the book was better guy. Nobody likes the book that was better guy. Like that, it's the most condescending thing. Oh, but it was a fine movie, but the book, I could read.
Those guys are goofballs. Who reads anymore? But that was the first book I ever read, just because it was about football.
Yeah, it's just even if that's what you genuinely feel, it just comes off. Maybe that's the way I hear it. I don't know a lot of people.
How about the guys? I've read these 6 books so far this month. Anybody have any suggestions on what else I can read? Man, they'll do something else, brother.
That's some grass. And also, they're not reading it; they're listening to it, right? It's audio,
and that's totally not the same thing. No, totally not the same thing.
Well, it's just multitasking. You're still like focusing on it.
You're not reading. You know what? Listening, reading. There's a difference, Dean. Like, there's a difference.
Thank you for the visual. I would not have been able to piece that together. But some people just digest information better. Like for myself personally, I'm much better at listening to a podcast as opposed to reading your article. Like I'm gonna take it in better. That's just the way I am. Other people, I'm sure, are different.
That's fine. It's not about. But when you use the term read, like there are physiological effects on your brain when you actually read, when you use your eyes and you're reading a page. It don't get the same effects when you're listening to a guy and you're like, am I reading right now because I'm listening to you? No, Dean, I'm not reading. I'm listening. So
yeah, but you're saving so many words. Like instead of saying,
I get it, Dean. It's just different.
I listened to this, and you got to explain it. It's a whole paragraph. Like let's just say I read it. It's fine.
Okay,
it's the same thing.
Dean, whatever. We got the crunch time crew here, Dean. Yeah, we didn't even get special treat for you today, Dean. Special treat for you today on the knockers, Dean.
What do we got?
I know you're a big fan of the Gingers, so I got some redheaded knockers for you today. Justin Turner, Alex Verdugo, 1-3 in the lineup. Shoppers knockers, let's get it.
There you go. There are the knockers. And I believe, are we at 150 likes? I think we're at 150. Right there. We're going to get it at the end of the sentence, I imagine. The people are going to hit the like button because they see TJ, they see Tim. Tim, do we have the taters today? Are taters happening?
We got a couple taters, Dean. I'm ready. I'm ready for some taters.
All right. We have TJ and Spidey as well. We got to knock out the triple G's before we step aside and get out of here. Roth, weather-wise for today, I think we're pretty clear. We're pretty clean unless something goofy's happened while the show's been going on, but I think we're okay.
Nah, maybe a delay in Denver, but it's fine either way.
Fair. No button down today for the people, Roth. Well, last night the people were they got spoiled with.
They got the full Cardi show at one point. You took all the buttons off. No, we're back to casual Kev.
Chop, we do have to step aside and get out of here, but the people are going to want. Well, actually, we need TJ to first unleash his first Spidey bomb, and then we have to have Chop to counter with a triple G play. So TJ, give us Spidey bomb. Hello.
Spidey bomb number 1, you can put him right alongside those Choppers knockers. It's Tristan Cassis.
Dang, that's one of mine, guys, in my home run parlay.
Dre, you got to give out that home run parlay as well. Are you going to give out on here or on your Twitter? Where are we going to find that?
It's going to be on my Twitter, definitely. I'm putting touches on the first one. The first one is going to be more of a strikeouts, hits, and combination of mixtures. The next one's going to be a home run parlay. So, like I said, we have 421 people watching. There's no reason why all of them cannot hit that like button. We get to 200 likes, I'll give away both of them. Both chances to win $1 million. One's going to be a little bit less, obviously, with the home runs. One's going to be about a 25-legger. But let's try to get this.
All right, Chop, we got to yield to crunch time. But before we go, though, you have to counter. Give the people your triple G play.
Well, I was going to do the Cassis and the knockers, but he's not redheaded, so it doesn't fit the theme of the redheads. So I couldn't put him in there, but I do like it. But another guy that I like tonight, Edard Julian, leading off for Minnesota against. I like that Minnesota stack tonight.
All right, Dre, Chop, anything else before you step aside and get out of here?
This is from first just want to say who said this? Big Hurt, yes, He Got Game is definitely up there. It's one of the best movies. I like Miami a lot today. I like Philly a lot today. Let's play those teams and play Boston.
I've been on a Denzel kick. I watched American Gangster and Man on Fire the last couple of days. Both spectacular movies.
Classics. So good.
Gotta do a power ranking of Denzel movies. That's gotta be really, really tough to do. Maybe we'll
That
unleash
is
that tonight.
that's definitely tough.
Training Day #1. I think it's Training Day. That's the first thing I think of.
Oh, really?
That's a good one, but I don't know if it's #1.
I don't know.
He's been in a lot of good movies.
He's had a good run for sure.
I did a Denzel list a while back, and I got all kinds of flack because there's so many good movies. You're gonna leave good ones out, and people get mad at you. But one of my top Denzel, I watch it over and over, is The Book of Eli. I don't know why nobody likes that one. I like The Book of Eli.
It's not top 5 or top 10. I don't think for Denzel. I'm not sure. Got to have a pen to paper for it, but I hear you. Maybe I got to give that a rewatch. Okay, it's crunch time. That was Dre. That was Chop. I was Dean. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Good luck tonight, and take it over, Rolf.
Let's do it. Welcome to it. Good show as always. This is Crunch Time. Ladies and gentlemen, this show is sponsored by Fanduel. We're bringing on 2 of the sharpest minds in the biz, helping us to walk through the slate. We got my guy TJ in the house. What up, TJ?
Doing well. Ready to dive into this slate with you guys. I like it quite a lot. It's a big one, 13 games. But I think there's still some edges to be found, and I'm looking forward to diving in. We got our second Spidey Bomb at 175 likes, third one at 200.
Very good. Ryan Painter in the chat, speaking of the Denzel movie, says Man on Fire is the #1 Denzel movie. I think I agree. I freaking love that movie, man. I don't know what it is about it.
I love that. I love that movie. He might be right. That might be the #1. That might
it's
be
got
the
Christopher
#1.
Walken, right? Being all weird. Just being all walking, and it's just so many good things about that movie. So that might be my #1 Denzel movie. But my #1 cheese aficionado is my guy Tim in the house. What up, Tim?
Yeah, not much. Big slate tonight. A lot of different ways that you can go at pitching. A lot of different ways to go with hitting in cash and GPP. So I'm pretty excited to break this down.
Okay, very good. Well, we don't have any real issues out there weather-wise. I mentioned, could things somehow go wrong in Colorado enough so that something horrible happens? I guess just play it. Like, I think I've got it as yellow for a chance of a delay. For the most part, that's what I think it is.
Can I ask just one annoying question about that?
Yeah,
do you think it would be like a middle of the game delay or before the start of the game delay?
So it's just these like light spotty. It's like if you actually look at miles, there's like a storm in an hour, another one an hour and a half from then, another one an hour and a half from then. But just the overall coverage is so low that I doubt all of those end up over the ballpark. I would say there's a chance for a delay at any time before the game, in the game, after the game. But it's just, that sounds worse than it is. The coverage is not very impressive out there. So unless every single storm goes right over the ballpark, I think it's going to be fine.
Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, of course. Anytime. That's it as far as weather goes. Someone mentioned the wind in Minnesota is swirling. I've got it blowing across. It is really windy, but I've got it blowing across the field. So I don't have that as a big help one way or another. Sorry. And that's it. James has hurricane questions. We'll talk about that after lock. How about that? Let's dive into the content side of things though. TJ, you can lead us off with maybe what you want to do pitcher wise.
Yeah. So I think the smaller the field, the larger the dollar, the more likely I am to go to Spencer Strider. His ownership's not coming in quite as high as I thought it would be. On FanDuel, the 11.5K price tag is just really not all that prohibitive. And so he's somebody that I really like today and would plan on getting to a lot over there. And then on DraftKings, he's my highest owned pitcher, but I am going to get quite a bit overweight on a lot of the mid-tier guys over on DraftKings, so I can try and pay up for Coors bats, St. Louis bats I like quite a bit, and a few other teams that we will dive into as well. So Strider's my #1 guy. Andrew Heaney is going to be my favorite SP2 today. I like him. I like him in tournaments on FanDuel as well, and then on DraftKings, he comes in as my favorite SP2. Outside of those two guys, I'm just different. I'm playing 150 today. So outside of those two guys, there are 7 others in my pool that I'm getting just like 15 to 20% of. It's Lugo, Gibson, Lorenzen, Lopez, France, Bryce Miller, and Brian Bayo. I'm loading up on Heaney and Strider, and then everybody else I'm just getting a pretty close to an even 20% of.
Okay, very good. Let's kick it over to Tim. What do you think the cash play is? I know there's a lot of choices out there. And then what is your favorite tournament pairing as well? And walk us through FanDuel and DK.
FanDuel cash is really easy. It's definitely Spencer Strider. TJ nailed it perfectly. Like there's enough value bats that he's incredibly easy to get to. So Strider is by far the SB1 on FanDuel. He's the SB1 in cash games on DK. SB2 on DK is where things get, I think, a little bit harder. Pablo Lopez is in a really great spot. He's technically the second best pitcher on the slate by quite a bit, but he's also 10.6K. So he's kind of expensive if you want to get up to any of these premium bats that we want to get to on this really large slate. So I would recommend Kyle Gibson if you're playing just strictly cash. I would play Kyle Gibson as your SP2 in cash games. And then I love Andrew Heaney, like TJ said, for more like a single entry, like 3 max GPP type setting. He's 7,700. He's a really exceptional play. The other guy I wanted to mention real quick is Seth Lugo at 7,500. He would be another great SP2 on DraftKings. So again, he would be more of a tournament guy, but I think the DK cash game pairing is Strider and Gibson.
Can you go like kind of double cheapy? Let's say maybe Gibson Heaney, or are you giving up too much because Strider has that upside of 14 Ks?
Listen, in tournaments, I love going double mid tier, but in cash games, I would not do that.
Gotcha. Okay,
Nailed
very
it.
good.
Nailed
Okay.
it.
Very good. Okay, excellent. Let's talk about some of the bats and some of the stacks. And Tim, I will let you lead us off there. You mentioned you want to save in some spots of pitchers so that you can get some of those more expensive stacks. But why don't you walk us through what the chalk is and what else you like?
Yeah, so the chalk on DraftKings is probably going to, well, on both sites really, is probably going to be, a combination of Colorado and the White Sox, the Coors game, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, everybody likes to play Coors. It's Eloy Jimenez was scratched. He's on paternity leave, which really kind of stinks for that already kind of pretty below average White Sox lineup. But they're relatively cheap, so they're in a really good spot against Peter Lambert, who is absolutely terrible. So the White Sox are going to be very, very popular. And then Colorado is in a really, really good spot also. And they're very cheap and they're very easy to get to, especially on FanDuel. Michael Kopech is, he's flashed some good games, but he's also incredibly wild. He has really, really bad control, like out of control walk rate. And that's just like a disaster waiting to happen at Coors Field. So Colorado, I think I almost prefer Colorado over Chicago, but it's pretty close. Those are the two chalk. And then I think Philadelphia would be my next favorite stack, just for larger field GPPs. I would definitely have like some stacks of them, even in a 3 max setting. Philadelphia would be right up there. And I absolutely love St. Louis. St. Louis is very, very cheap, especially on FanDuel. Tyler O'Neill is still way too cheap. Wilson Contreras is very, very cheap. So they're a really good stack, and you can pay it for pitching really easily and get some St. Louis bats and get some like Philly bats and kind of, get different that way.
Okay. Atlanta not mentioned. TJ, I want to throw it over to you. I'm looking at this tool here that shows us, all right, the run projection, but also the fantasy points projection. This is the Plate IQ tool on RotoGrinders. And it looks like Atlanta is the number 1 team, not as far as runs scored, but as far as fantasy points projected. So that's good.
Yeah, Atlanta is 100% always in play every single night. Their matchup against Cobb, not super easy today, but Cobb also plays most of his games in a great pitcher's park, getting a park downgrade going into Atlanta. And so they're 100% always in play. I got a decent amount of Atlanta stacks today. They're among my favorite stacks. They're just kind of like always tough to get to from a price standpoint. And we don't have the like 6K, 5.5, 6.5, like reasonable pitcher that we can go to today to fit in those Atlanta stacks.
Right.
So it makes them tougher to get to. They're currently my 5th highest owned stack today, which I'm pretty happy about. And then like the White Sox in Colorado, they're Coors, they're great. They're going to be the 2 chalkiest teams, but I'm getting you probably like close to around the field on them. But then I love St. Louis. I really love both of the offenses in this Boston and New York game. A lot of people I think like the Red Sox today, and rightfully so, but I like the Yankees too. I think they're very interesting in tournaments today. I'm pitching Bayo, but I'm also playing Yankees against him. And then, yeah, I like the Braves. I like Seattle. I don't mind getting to some Baltimore as well. We have reached enough likes for the second Spidey Bomb. We're only 9 likes away from the third. So keep smashing that like button. I'm going to give both of them away right now because I know people are going to be hitting that like button. First one, it is the Polar Bear Big Meat Pete plus 420 on FanDuel. Just insane odds for him. I got like on this playnow.com, this website in Saskatchewan I use for sports betting. I got the most insane home run odds that I've gotten on a bet, I think, all year. I got Alonso plus 565 to hit a home run. And so really excited about that one. So he's Spidey Bob number 2. And then number 3 in that same game. I love St. Louis, just like Tim said. And so Wilson Contreras plus 440 on FanDuel, Spidey Bomb number 3.
Very good. You mentioned FanDuel. This show's sponsored by FanDuel, by the way. Make sure you're signing up for the FanDuel Sportsbook if you're in a legal sports betting state. Take advantage of their awesome bonus offer. If you're in Tennessee, Arizona, Colorado, or Illinois, you bet $5, you can get $150 in bonus bets. If you're in Virginia, West Virginia, Indiana, Iowa, and all other legal sports betting states, you can get a no-sweat first bet up to $1K. Terms and conditions do apply, but make sure you are taking advantage of those offers. Let's go around the horn, position by position. TJ started off with a little catcher talk for me.
Yeah, so Wilson Contreras, Spidey Bomb number 1, he's definitely going to be Spidey Bomb number 3, he's definitely going to be my favorite guy there today. Kyle Tucker being scratched made me like the Houston stack a lot less. However, I do really still like Yainer Diaz as a potential cash game option if you land on him. I don't think you got to change your lineup. I love him as a one-off in tournaments. Yasmani Grandal is nice and cheap and in Coors, and then Francisco Alvarez I like quite a bit as well.
Okay, what are you doing, Tim?
Yeah, Wilson Contreras is definitely my favorite guy. Another team that I wanted to mention real quick is the Orioles. I don't think they're going to get a lot of attention today. I love Adley Rutschman in tournament builds. I think he's a really, really strong play. I love that whole stack. Yasmani Grandal for the White Sox, I think, is cheap enough, even though he's kind of slowed down quite a bit this year. But I still think he's an okay play. Francisco Alvarez, I think, is a really good GPP play. And I think that's it.
Okay, excellent. How about first base?
Yeah, so Paul Goldschmidt is my first tater of the day, plus 420 on FanDuel. Very similar to TJ's Contreras call. Paul Goldschmidt's one of my favorite plays of the entire day. Andrew Vaughn, 3,900 on DraftKings, I think is a really good play. Ryan Mountcastle for the Orioles, batting 4th. It's going to be Francisco Perez as the opener, who's a lefty, but then Luis Medina is coming in as the bulk guy, and he actually gives up a higher ISO to righties than he does lefties. So I think he's going to be a very, very low owned like price point pivot away from a chalkier Andrew Vaughn. And then I think those are my best plays. Oh, and then Gavin Sheets, he's first base outfield. He's 3K. He would be another way to differentiate a Chicago White Sox stack.
Okay, great. TJ, got some good plays at first. What do you prefer, sir?
Yeah, my 2 favorites are going to be the 2 Spidey Bombs, Tristan Casas and Pete Alonso. They're my highest owned guys today. I actually got a 4th one ready to go if we can get up to 225 likes. So that's only 22 more likes. Keep hitting that like button. It's less than half the people watching. Nice and easy. I got one more home run bet for you. I also really like Jake Bowers as a salary saver today, batting third in that Yankees lineup. Andrew Vaughn, and then Ty France as a tournament play I like quite a bit as well. The Goldschmidt call is great. I got a home run bet on him today as well. And then Matt Olson going very underowned in tournaments is a great play.
Wonderful. Second base, TJ.
This is a really gross position today, and so I find myself getting cheap as much as possible. We have a mega chalk Brendan Rodgers, and I just don't really want to do that. Bryson Stott and Julian are the next two highest owned, and I don't mind them, but like I just don't really want to get to those chalky guys at this position today. And so I'm going cheap. I'm just going as cheap as I can all the time. And I'm getting guys like Lennon Sosa, Jose Caballero, Jonathan Araúz, Jose Furman. Gleyber Torres' price has gone down quite a bit, so I really like him in tournaments. But I guess you just go with the Rogers, Julian, Stott in a tournament single entry type scenario. And then everywhere else is pretty gross on DraftKings. On FanDuel, it's a bit of a different story. I love Tommy Edman. And so I'd probably play Edman here. You can also play Ryan McMahon at second over there. And so I really like both of those plays on FanDuel.
All right, Tim, what are you doing over at second base?
Yeah, Brandon Rodgers is the easy cash game play. Like if you're playing cash, you're 100% playing Brandon Rodgers.
He's got the whole rainbow there.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, exactly. He's way too cheap for this matchup. On both sites, DK and FanDuel. Elvis Andrus is dirt cheap also. I really like TJ's Tommy Edman call to get different on FanDuel. The only other thing I'd say is, if everyone's going to be saving at second, maybe you pay up for Mookie Betts as a contrarian one-off, in a tournament. So I think that'd be a way to get different with a lot of upside in a GPP.
When you've got a guy like Brendan Rodgers and he's got the rainbow tags and he's the best play and he's the cash play, are you trying not to one-off him in a GPP because you don't want to just soak up that ownership?
That is absolutely correct. I would not ever one-off the rainbow guy in baseball. The rainbow guy in baseball is very different than the rainbow guy in basketball.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. How about third base, Tim?
Yeah. So Juan Moncada, I think, is your cash game guy. He's 4,000 on DK. I think that's an affordable price. I think Max Muncy is a really good tournament play. Same thing with Alec Baum. I think he would be a really strong play as well. Third base is a little bit tough. It's not as loaded as as it usually is. I think is Royce Lewis in the lineup, TJ?
I believe so. Yes. Hold on. Let me look. Quick.
Yeah, like Royce Lewis at 3,200 batting second, I think is a really, really strong play as well. And I think he could be in the cash game conversation also.
Okay. TJ, what are you doing at third?
Devers is my favorite guy here by a very wide margin. I think he's probably my favorite bat on the slate. He's my highest owned bat, followed by Cassis. So I adore him today. Ryan McMahon and Royce Lewis are my next two highest owned. And then I'm getting some punt guys in here as well. Araúz and Furman, who I mentioned at second base. Jan Moncada is, I agree, probably the cash game play here today. However, I would probably do Devers anyways, just because that's how much I love him today. And then Nolan Arenado is one of my favorite tournament plays here. Just to kind of hammer things home on Devers and Cassis. This game is warm in New York. Not crazy warm, but warm. The winds are blowing out.
Yep.
And they got that short porch there in right field, and it's a much shorter distance. They hit a home run in Yankee Stadium than it is in Fenway there. I adore these, like the wind's blowing exactly in that direction. Devers and Cassis are just my favorite guys on the slate by far. We are 8 likes away from the next Bitey Bomb. Keep hitting that like button. Hopefully when it gets thrown back to me for short, I'll have something for you.
Okay, great. Well, it is your turn for short, I do believe. So do you have something for me?
Son of a gun. Mason Wynn and Tommy Edwin are going to be my two favorite guys here. I love the Cardinals. Jose Caballero, I'm getting to a lot. A little bit of, like, this is a tough position too. So a little bit of Andrus, Pablo Reyes, Tovar. I don't mind Correa or Francisco Lindor. Corey Seager, I think, is interesting in tournaments. And Spidey Bomb number 4. The people have not quite hit the like button, but I trust you guys. He's at this position. It flows too well for me not to do it. Keep hitting that like button. There's almost 500 of you watching there. Get me up to 225. Spidey Bum number 4 is Gunnar Henderson, and you can find him for plus 630 on FanDuel.
That was my second tater, TJ.
Yes!
That was my second tater.
I bet Goldschmidt too. So Tim and I are in sync today.
Man, the Spidey Bombs and the Tater Bombs matching up. That's big time. Yeah. All right. TJ, was that all of your shortstop plays there? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Tim, what are you doing at short?
Yeah, so on FanDuel, Tovar for the Rockies is really, really cheap at 3,300. He's way more expensive on DK at 4,800, so he's more of a tournament play on DraftKings, but he's really easy to get to on FanDuel. He's definitely the cash game guy. Trey Turner on FanDuel at 3K, I think is a fantastic play, especially if he's going to go low owned, which I think he probably will. You could play Tommy Edman at short, Elvis Andrus on both sites. He's cash game viable. And then, of course, we just talked about Gunnar Henderson. I think he is a fantastic play. I don't think anyone's going to be getting to Baltimore today. So I think he makes for a really, really strong play.
Okay, very good. Take me to the outfield.
Yeah, so Luis Robert is going to be like the popular Coors guy for the White Sox. He's actually one of their, he's actually a real strong hitter. Regardless of ballpark. So he's going to be your cash game outfielder. Kyle Schwarber on both sites, I absolutely love. He has such a really, really strong ISO against right-handed pitchers. So I think he's a really strong play. Jorge Soler, I think, is going to be relatively low owned, and he's only 3K on FanDuel. I think he is in a really, really good spot. And then the other thing I'd mention real quick is Michael Harris is 2,900 on FanDuel, batting second for Atlanta. That's a really, really good price for a really good lineup position on a great offensive team. He's way more expensive on DK, but he's definitely cash game consideration on FanDuel. Charlie Blackmon is 2,900 on FanDuel. That's really, really cheap. And then Nolan Jones for the Rockies, I think, is a very, very strong play as well.
Okay. TJ, your thoughts on the outfield?
I like all of Tim's calls. The Nolan Jones one I like quite a bit. The Soler one I really like as well. I think Luis Robert is kind of the just best play in the outfield today. I'm trying to get to as much of him as I can. I love the Cardinals bats, Jordan Walker, Tyler O'Neill. They're two of my very favorite sources of salary relief today. Teoscar Hernandez, I think, is a phenomenal source of salary relief today. I'm wanting off quite a few guys in the outfield today, just in that mid 3K range. I love the Hernandezes. I love Max Kepler. A couple other spend ups I'm trying to get to a lot. And like my favorite spend up is Robert. My next tier after that I'm trying to get to the most are Aaron Judge, Yordan Alvarez, and Julio Rodriguez. And then a couple other guys I like as salary savers. I like Matt Wallner quite a bit. And then, of course, Gavin Sheets you can play in the outfield as well. Same as Trace Thompson.
Okay. I should have mentioned Tyler O'Neill for cash games. He's definitely a cash game play today. That was my bad.
Very nice. That's all good. We still have 20 minutes until lock. That's a whole lot of time. We've done home run calls. We've done Tim's Taters. We've done a bunch of Spidey Bombs. I think we dive right into the questions. That sound good?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. All right. Pulling up the RotoGrinders Discord. Hey, if you're not on the RotoGrinders Discord, what are you doing? What are you doing with your life? It's just you're making poor choices. Make sure you sign up and hang out. That's where all the cool kids are. Let's see what we got. Question from Falcor. He says, single entry, TJ, out of the 3 teams, Boston, St. Louis, and Philly, which 2 would you stack? P.S. I've got Heaney at pitcher. So who is the odd man out? Boston, St. Louis, Philly.
Philly is the odd man out for me. I still do like them today, but I like St. Louis the best as a full stack, and Boston is my favorite mini stack on the slate.
Okay. D-Dot says FanDuel GPP. Tim, any love for Andre Jackson?
No, not really. I think he's 5,100. I think there's better plays in the mid-range.
Okay. Chinatown would like to know how high up on your rankings when you adore someone. I adore when you say you adore a player, TJ. How high up is that? Is that like beyond love? Is that like, where does that rank?
That's beyond love. That is just,
Yeah.
I think that is my highest tier of liking
Okay.
a player.
That's good to know. All right, thank you. Just had to clear that up. We got a cash question, Tim. This is from Mlb Dfs. Edman or Andrews? Who do you prefer, Tim?
They're both really good. I think in cash, I got to go Andrews.
Okay. We got a question from Chinatown here. DK Cash. Tim, I'm going to come right back to you. Your pairing for DK Cash, I assume it's starting pitching, would be
Strider and Gibson.
There you have it. Okay. JB says your favorite hashtag game stack DKGPP. I think he means it, TJ. I think he means stack up a game. If you want to go chalky, you're doing the Colorado. But if you want to do something a little bit different, you're stacking up the Yankees and Boston game. You got the winds blowing out, two teams that can take advantage of that. That's it, right?
Get ready to clip that. Devin, get ready to clip that for tomorrow because that's not going to be my advice. That's going to be Roth's advice, telling everybody how to win the money, and I'm doing the same thing.
I like it. All right, there you go. What else do we got?
Still have no Miami lineup, right? No Miami lineup, and no, that's the only one I care about.
Okay. TK Cash, Tim, we need an outfielder.
No Miami. That was a question. Sorry, not a statement. Do we still not have a Miami lineup? I haven't seen one.
I don't know. I don't look at lineups.
I'll look real quick.
Yeah.
What was the question? What was the question, Kevin?
It was outfield 3,400 or less. And DK Cash.
Kepler.
I don't know. I'm doing too many things at once.
Yeah. All right. We're gonna stick with Kepler.
I'll get back to them on that one.
Okay. All right, that's fine. FanDuel Cash, TJ, I'm coming to you while Tim tries to find if we got a Miami lineup here. FanDuel Cash, TJ, Vaughn Butler or Teoscar Blackman?
Vaughn Butler or Teoscar Blackman? Teoscar Blackman.
Okay, great.
Chat says no Miami, so don't worry about it. I couldn't find one either, Tim.
There you go. Yeah. Eric says, how many giant stacks does TJ have?
How many giant stacks does TJ have? A big ol' 0.
Ooh. All right. Eric Johnson, hey, I have a hot take. Beer is good. Beer is good. TJ, you don't strike me as a beer drinker. Is that accurate?
I'm not a beer guy.
Yeah. Tim, you do strike me as a beer drinker, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. I approve. All right. What about Trace Thompson in the outfield from Brian?
That's actually my favorite cash game guy for $3,400 or less. Going back to that question, so I think it's a great play.
Okay, very good. Let's see here. L21 says, TJ, could you quickly recap pitching in a DKGPP?
Yes, I absolutely can. Strider is my priority pay up, and outside of him, I'm going to be looking to stick in that mid-range as much as I can. And so the guy I'm prioritizing the most is Andrew Heaney. And then I'm getting kind of like an even 20% of the, Kyle Gibson's, JP France, Brian Bayo's. But my priority, like if I'm in running one lineup, my single entry team is Strider and Andrew Heaney. But I don't hate the idea in tournaments of doing a double pay down for guys like Lorenz in France, Bayo, Miller, Gibson, Heaney, Lugo.
Okay.
We just got a Marlins lineup. It looks pretty standard. Soler, Arias, Bell, Chisholm, Berger, De La Cruz, Sanchez, Stallings, and Wendell.
Nice. Okay, perfect. I like that quite a bit. I like Miami today. Just like I don't think I'm quite as heavy on them as Dre is in tournaments, but I do like them quite a bit.
And TJ, we got a question earlier that I didn't really have any interest in, but what about Andre Jackson? Do you have any of him in 150 builds at all?
I do not know.
You don't? Yeah, I don't think I would either. But
I don't think he's going to go deep enough.
Right. Yeah.
All right, jumping back into the RotoGrinders Discord, got a few fresh questions coming in. NBA DFS says, Tim, any interest in Schnauz? We're going to call him Schnauzer, but I think his name is Chanel with Angels leading off. Chanel? That guy. You have no idea who I'm talking about.
I know who you're talking about.
Okay,
I thought he wasn't in the player pool. Did they add him? That's what let me refresh.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not in the player pool, I don't think.
I don't think he's in the player pool unless they added him really quickly. No,
Okay.
I don't think
NBA DFS, let us know what site you're playing on it and if he is in a player pool somewhere. Beaner says, a good pitcher. Okay, yeah, this is a good one. A Fanduel GPP. I want each of your favorite pitchers in a Fanduel GPP. You just going up to Strider, or are you trying to get a little sneakier? Tim, you can go first.
Well, if you want to go like off the chalk, I actually think Kyle Gibson's kind of interesting at 9,900. But yeah, I still prefer Strider. But if you want to like play like a way low owned guy, I think Gibson would be my favorite.
TJ, your favorite FanDuel GPP pitcher?
I would probably still do Strider, but my next favorite would be Andrew Heaney.
Okay. By the way, this guy who's leading off is in on FanDuel. He's 2,200 on FanDuel.
Okay. Yeah, that's all right. That's fine then. Yep.
Okay. Very good. A few more questions. TJ, are you at risk of bullying not liking beer while you live in Canada? Is that a problem if you don't drink Molson's up there?
My ego's not fragile enough to care, so I'll just go along with the joke and I say, pass me a beer, and then I drink it like a hard iced tea, and it's kind of I'm in on the joke, so it's fine.
Okay. That's good. All right, that works. DK Cash, Tim, Benintendi, Teoscar, or O'Neill?
That's really tough because I really like O'Neill. So I don't think it's Teoscar, even though I think he's a good play overall. It's really tough. I think in cash, if you're just playing cash, you should lean on the Coors game. So it's Benintendi. But I really like O'Neill too.
Okay. All right, TJ, Kepler or O'Neill in a DK single entry?
O'Neill.
Okay. TJ, what are your thoughts on a 5-man angel stack for DK GPP?
I have 150 lineups and 0 5-man angel stacks.
Okay. Sherman's Tank says, is LeCastro puntable, Tim? In FanDuel cash, his min price is $2K.
I just don't think you need to go that low. I mean, I guess don't blow up your team let me look up his pinch hit risk real quick. That's what I'd be most worried about in cash.
This is the longest pause we've ever. There's never been that.
Yeah,
long
I guess 22% is not bad. So I guess that's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
All right, there you have it. DK Cash question: Thompson Bay or LeCastro Benintendi? Tim, Thompson Bay or LeCastro Benintendi?
The second one.
Sugar Ray says, TJ, straight up on DK Reynolds or Yoshida?
Yoshida.
Okay. Beaner says, I got 3,200 for third on FanDuel, TJ. Give me a play, please. He said, please.
Well, since they asked so nicely, I'm going to go for tournaments. I like Gunnar Henderson.
Okay. What else do we have? Jumping over real quick to the YouTube. See if we got, by the way, our guy Dre posted the second $1 million parlay on his Twitter, so make sure you're checking that out. Eric says, hey, Tim, I love fading Strider. He's got to get 30 DK points to pay that price tag off. You're okay with it?
I'm fine with it in tournaments. I think you're making a mistake in cash games.
Totally, yeah. All right.
He does need 30 points to pay it off, but he could get 40.
Right.
Exactly.
Eric says, hey, what are your thoughts on Houston stacks, TJ? I like Diaz.
I like Diaz and Alvarez a lot. I liked the Houston stack, though, a lot more before Kyle Tucker was scratched.
Yeah, that is a problem. All right. Just absolute baby meltdown upstairs. I'm losing my freaking mind. Okay, I'm fine. Eric says, I took Tim for a whiskey guy. Tim, you a whiskey guy?
Whiskey's okay. Whiskey's
Yeah,
okay.
I'm in
Yeah.
that same boat.
I'm
not gonna
kind
say
of
no.
an anything kind of guy.
Me too. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that. Let's see. One stack to win it all from Top Shot HD. TJ, you can start. Tim, I want your take too, though. Your favorite stack to win, let's say, a single entry GPP.
I think we probably are actually going to have the same take, and mine is the Cardinals.
Okay, Tim?
I love the Cardinals. I think they're going to garner a little bit more ownership, though. But I'm going to say Baltimore.
Okay.
I like that.
Oh, all right. Eric says, what are your thoughts on Woodruff on DK? Tim, you got any thoughts on Woodruff?
Ooh, that's a lot of money to be spending on a guy who's facing a pretty tough offense. Like, yeah, he is a great pitcher, but I mean, I don't have a ton of interest. Do you have any of him, TJ, in 150 build?
No, none. It's just too many other guys that I want to get to. He's too pricey. I love Woodruff as a pitcher, and I typically like getting to him, but not for that price against Texas.
Yeah, like if he's gonna be 8% owned, if I was building 150, which I'm not, maybe I'd have like 2% or something like that. But it's not somebody I'd want to be overweight on or even level.
Okay. Eric says, hey, are we all sleeping on Cobb? Are we all sleeping on Cobb?
But I'm going to continue to.
Yeah. Yeah, we're sleeping on it, but we're comfortable sleeping on it. All right, let's see. Great question from JB. Do we have any P fatty boom blatty in our lineups? I don't know how to actually pronounce his name, but I call him P fat. Do we have any?
We do not.
Lame. What are your thoughts on a Rays stack? TJ, you can start us off there. You get to any Rays? They got some pop.
I did not. I am getting to some Rays. I'm getting to Paredes and Ramirez as one-offs, but that's it.
Okay. Cloud says, hey, Tim, Sugar Sean, or Backpack Sterling? I don't know who these people are.
I don't know who that is.
I'm going to go Backpack Sterling.
I don't know. We appreciate.
Who is that? Who is it, TJ? Do you know?
I don't know, but Backpack Sterling sounds like he's got a lot of power.
True.
Yeah.
I think Sugar Steel. What was his name? Sugar some. I think that's more of a base stealing threat, but I don't think his matchup is good enough. And so this is a UFC fight, by the way. But I think the other guy has a little more power, and he's going to has more chance of hitting a dong today.
I have no idea what the hell you're talking about, but
me neither.
I'm just being silly.
All right. Whew, I was like, damn, we're jumping sports. We're all over the place. But this is the most important question of the day so far from Snowfighter. Oh, yeah. He says he was in the wrong chat. It was MMA. He was in the wrong chat. So good job, TJ. way to catch up. Snowfighter says blueberry pancakes or chocolate chip pancakes. Don't answer this wrong or I'm going to judge the hell out of you. Tim, you go first.
Chocolate chip for me.
TJ?
Chocolate chip by a lot.
You guys, chocolate's not supposed to be in breakfast foods. Chocolate shouldn't be in muffins. It shouldn't be in pancakes. It shouldn't be in
pancake.
Pancake is already a dessert, Roth. You understand that, right?
that's
like you do realize that you're not having something healthy when you eat a pancake. True.
Plus, like a banana chocolate chip muffin is probably the #1 muffin that exists.
Oh God, it's blueberry pancakes.
Like if you put syrup on your pancake and you judge me, Roth, then forget it.
That's fair. Know? All right.
For what it's worth, if I'm eating it with syrup, I would rather have blueberry pancake. But a chocolate chip pancake, I would throw some Nutella on there and I would throw some whipped cream on there.
Alan says Roth with one of the worst takes in YouTube history.
Yeah, that's
aggressive.
It's up there. It's up there, Kevin.
Whew. All right, we'll get a poll going here. I feel strongly that the answer is blueberry. Izzy, Chase Elliott, or Kyle Larson? Are these freaking race car drivers now?
Yeah, that's NASCAR.
Good Lord, guys. I don't know baseball enough to handle all these.
My favorite play on the entire slate, I think, is Tracy McGrady.
T-Mac, You can't go wrong.
Elite 3-point shooter, can score inside, 6'8". He's got the athleticism. He's got the range. That's probably my favorite play.
Okay, lock him in. Lock him in. Amateur Hour says, hey, here we go. It's a baseball question, I think. Single entry DKGPP, TJ. What do you like better? A 4-4 game stack, Boston, New York, with Rortved, Torres, Devers versus Boston, New York, St. Louis mix with Wilson, Contreras, Nolan Arenado, and Wynn?
Definitely the second one.
Oh, good. I'm glad you followed that because that almost broke my brain trying to read it. France or Gibson, Boss Bra?
Gibson.
Okay. Rocky Raccoon says, Tim, Bryce is on sweaty hot fire. He's the double dong guy today. Who is your double dong guy today? Also, don't look up that phrase on Reddit. It's good advice. Tim, who's hitting a double dong? Who's your double dong guy of the night?
So he likes Bryce. I like Schwarber. That would be my double dong.
Okay. I'm getting called a boomer for my blueberry over.
That's such a bad take, Roth. Like I can't even take you seriously from now on.
What are you, 4 years old? You want chocolate chips in your breakfast?
You're already having dessert, Roth.
Throw some whipped cream and Nutella on there, and it's just a great combo.
Just out of here, guys. You're crazy. All right. TJ, FanDuel single entry. Who would you leave out in this Cards mini? I've already got Edman, Walker, O'Neill, or Contreras. So I guess one of those guys has to go out. Edman.
I would leave out Edman just to get a little bit different and get all those guys correlated right after one another.
Okay. I hope I read that question right. Let's see what else we got. Let's see if we got anything. Where are we at? We're about 2 minutes until lock. Make sure you hit us with a little thumbs up if you don't mind here. What do you and the Bat, Alan asks, say, TJ, about Yandy Carroll versus Harold Ohtani?
Carroll is projected for. I want to throw a question to Tim, and then I'll get an answer for that one. I want to give him just because he asked what the Bat says, I want to actually give him this is who is better.
Yeah. The problem is everyone's just skewering me from my pancake take.
Oh, it's definitely the second one. It's the Ohtani one.
Okay. Very good. Let's see if we got anything else here. I think we got a poll going up on the, I don't know if that's on Twitter, but we got a poll going up on the pancake thing. So I got to get in and make sure to get the proper vote in. I know one thing Roth doesn't like, avocado toast. No, avocado toast is freaking delicious. You're wrong. Okay, here's the question that I didn't get earlier. This is from J Sam's TJ. Edman is already at short, so leave out one of O'Neill, Walker, or Contreras.
I'd leave out Walker.
Okay, great. Kepler or Sheets straight up from Tony 2 times. Tim?
So Kepler's projected way better, but I think Sheets is a really strong contrarian play on a chalky stack. So okay. I think Sheets in the GPP is a really good play.
All right, Tim. Paul says, which pitchers are the most owned tonight? Who's the highest owned? Is it Strider?
Wow, Strider definitely is number one. Lopez, Gibson, Heaney. There would be Seth Lugo. Those are the top five.
Okay. Let's see. We got Michael Jordan questions, Bo Jackson questions. We've really gone off the rails here pretty well. But the good news is we have essentially made it until lock. Hey, did you guys know that NFL is basically here? It's happening. It's essentially happening right now. We're more ready than ever with our team of experts, our suite of tools. We're going to handle the legwork. You can do less, win more this NFL season. You can get access to everything we have to offer, a special discounted rate only available to those without a RotoGrinders subscription. You get a full season subscription for $50 off at a limited time only price of $375. This sale will end opening night, so make sure you get on that when you can. But check it out. Our football content is fantastic, much like our baseball content, much like our brilliant hosts. With that, we have answered all the questions. We've given the plays, and we have hit the lock. I think it is time to get on out of here. So for TJ, for Tim, For our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you. And we will catch you tomorrow. You have been punished.